Hello everybody and welcome to today's real estate update. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. Instead of looking at new listings, we're going to look at what's called the Realtors Confidence Index survey. This is a survey that goes out to realtors across the nation. And basically we're just taking a really good guess at what we think is going to happen. And when you take the opinion of a million realtors across the country, we're pretty accurate. Nobody stays in tune with the housing market like realtors do, simply because that's what we do all day, every day. There's a couple interesting things on here that I'd like to note. One of them is the expected sales volume and the 3-month. This is a 3-month outlook on sales volume and price expectations. So 30% of realtors believe that the volume is going to rise 1 to 5%, and 44% of agents believe that the prices are going to rise 1 to 5%. And I also fall into this category. I think that it may even be bigger than that. The biggest reason is government intervention, stimulus money, and I do believe that interest rates are going to stay low as the federal government does pump more money into the economy. If we really want to get down into it, you can look at the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Mint and see that they're actually planning on doubling the amount of U.S. currency printed in 2021 versus 2020. I think with this huge influx of cash, we're going to see home prices rise significantly. We're also going to see a lot more people able to purchase those homes with those low interest rates. So I'm probably on the high end, so probably the 5 to 6% on the volume and on the sale price, between 5 and 6% as well. This is just an estimated guess based on, being in the market all day, every day. But I think 2021 is going to be a big year for buyers and sellers. So you can see the East Coast, which is where we're at. It's just on fire right now. This is buyer traffic. They're expecting buyer traffics to increase 2 to 4%, which is, obviously going to be an increase in volume. See, very strong. This is interesting. Seller traffic is expected to be stable or weak, and I also believe that to be true as well. This is probably geared more towards pre-existing homes, so I think we're running out of inventory here, and with the lack of foreclosures. So if you look, there's another highlight in here. We're trying to keep this not too long. But here's a big issue that I see. Distressed sales, which are your, that's going to be like your foreclosures, real estate owned, pre-foreclosures, short sales, stuff like that. Last year it was 2%. This year is 1% in November of 20. And I think that it's probably going to be even lower than that under the new administration. So that is the reason why I think that this, the seller's traffic is probably going to go down, right? So you're going to have less listings from pre-existing homes. Maybe new construction will make up for that lack of distressed sales and flippers. People who flip houses. There's just not very many on the market to flip, which is the big problem here. Median days on market. This is interesting as well. So this past in November, I think we were seeing 21 days on market. This is what we're looking at here. So 31 to 45, 16 to 30. Yeah, so 21 days. That's pretty much the whole country is looking at 21 days on market, which is significantly different than last year, which I think was 38 days. So we're more than 10. Houses are selling more than 10% faster than they were previously. More than that, 20%. Over 20% faster. This, like I said, this 21 days, it has changed. This right here, this number hasn't changed at all, which is interesting to me as well. So first-time home buyers as a percentage is still 32%. In 2019, they were also 32%. So we're not getting more first-time home buyers as a percentage, we're getting more home buyers across the board. More people are upgrading because they can. Interest rates are low, and their existing homes are selling for a higher market, higher price, which allows them to put more money down on their new house. So I don't think that we're necessarily seeing a huge increase in first-time home buyers, but also those who are just wanting to upgrade or those who are wanting to downgrade. They're ready to cash out and take advantage of those low interest rates. Let's see here. Here's the first-time buyers over time and all buyers. Let's see, cash sales, 20%. That's an interesting number. It's less than it has been in the past, and obviously because the interest rates are low. See, now here's the real problem. Distress sales are going away. All right, so we can see back in 2008 when distress sales, we're going to look at short sales. This is short sales. These are foreclosures. But you can see way back when they were making up, a good percentage of the market with over 10% of the market share. And now we're down to nothing, right? So that really puts a lot of pressure on new construction. A lot of pressure on new construction. So you're going to see a lot of brand new houses going up. Living status, home buyers. Let's look at this one. Rent an apartment or a house. People are just seeing that it's cheaper to own. That's all there is to that. These are your first-time home buyers, just a little bit more than that. 32% first-time home buyers. Obviously, they're coming from their parents' house. This is, hell, I can't tell the difference in these colors. Maybe I'm backwards. But lived with parents, relatives, or friends, rented. That's probably a lot of your first-time home buyers as well. Yeah, I can't tell the difference between those two. Maybe this one's probably lived with parents, relatives, or friends, which would make up a big chunk of your first-time home buyers. Renters are also going to make up a big chunk of your first-time home buyers. And your, definitely. Lived in a property they owned. So that's probably the pre-existing home sales. That would make sense. It's interesting. 3.3 offers per house, right? So that means that if you list your house, you're going to get an average of three offers. This is another reason prices are going higher and higher and higher, because when you get 3 offers on every single listing, you get into this bidding war, right? So you're going to have to bid over asking price in order to close most of these houses. Average number of clients taken on a home tour by agents, 4. Okay. Don't really see how that matters to the market, but it's a thing. Issues affecting 64% of people are closing on time, 30% delayed but closing on time. Hardly any are being terminated right now, which is pretty impressive. It seems about right to me. Things happen, delays happen, especially when everybody's like running around like a maniac. Your agent's working with more people than they've ever worked with before. Your attorneys are working with more people than they've ever worked before, and your loan officers are just overwhelmed. And then also throw on top of that new COVID restrictions. Processing gets delayed sometimes. It's just part of the home transaction, but it's good to see that the majority of them are not being delayed. You can see right there that 26% issues related to financing. But they are getting closed, right? So they're eventually going into settlement, which means that they're probably just, processing delays is what it is. Appraisal issues, obviously appraisal issues are going to be a big part of it, especially when you see a market where houses are selling for more money than they've ever sold before. So you're going to have a lot of that appraisal, a lot of issues with appraisals because you don't really have comparables to look at. Same thing over here. Appraisals, 12% of terminations. All of this stuff right here, that's all stuff that happens in a normal market. You're not going to see a lot of change there. But I think these top 2 right here are the stats to look at whenever we're talking about an overall market. These numbers are probably higher now than they have been in the past. This is actually really impressive that 95% of the rent is being collected, considering the no foreclosures or evictions are going on right now in a lot of states because of the CARES Act. Realtor Concern. So what they do is they make this little fancy word chart to show what agents are most concerned about. They have this big survey. Obviously, COVID is the big one there, right? So how is that going to affect the market? How is the government going to respond to new COVID restrictions, or how is the vaccine going to change the way the government looks at the market? My biggest fear, or what my biggest fear was, that they're just going to release, all of these, a year's worth of pending foreclosures. They were going to release all those into the market all at one time and just flood the market with foreclosures. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're an investor or working with investors, but it's absolutely awful for the resale of houses, because now we're getting a flood of cheap houses, right? So all of our investors are able to take advantage of that. But there's not enough investors probably to gobble all of them up. So you're going to have all of these vacant houses sitting around that are selling for, a half to 75% of the price of a regular retail home in the same neighborhood. So COVID, there's a whole lot of uncertainties that come with COVID. Time's always a concern. Price concern. Buyers. So buyers, you see right here, is really big. Buyers are hard to work with right now because it's so competitive, right? So it's important that what I'm doing with my buyers right now is we're having a sit down in my office before we even go look at any houses, and we're going to have a plan in place, right? So we're going to have a very competitive plan in place. We're going to know exactly what kind of house we're looking for and how much we're willing to pay for that house. That way, when we go out and we're looking at houses, we're already way ahead of the game. And it's been working out for us pretty well, but we're not just going showing houses without a solid game plan anymore. So there you have it. That is the real estate update for today. This is the Realtor's Confidence Index Survey from November of 2020. We'll probably go over some other market conditions tomorrow, and we're in the first part of the year, so it's really important, I think, to look at the market, how this past year has gone, and really try to make some good educated guesses on what's going to happen this next year. I know a lot of you guys are probably looking to sell your home, downgrade, upgrade, whatever. Now's the great time to sell and get into some new construction, maybe, especially if you got your 3-bedroom, 2-bath, small brick ranch starter home. Kids are getting a little bit older. It's time to sell. So I know the people in my generation are probably at that point where their careers progressed and they're having kids and they're ready to upgrade. So it's really important that we keep an eye on what's happening, especially on the federal government level. But as always, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number is 919-288-0688. You can call or text me with questions. And if you have questions, I'll probably answer them offline. But if I get enough of them, then I'll address them in one of these little videos. Let's see, what else? You can always visit the website if you'd like to see the newest listings. It is www.zachlilly.com. We didn't go over them today. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's a holiday. But as always, you can go in here, and I recommend creating an account. You can always click on my account, and you can have some saved searches in there, right? So if you want to see what's going on in your neighborhood, if you're a homeowner, you can set up a search specifically for that. Or if you're looking for a specific price range or something like that. I think we are going to take a look at this one. This is a property that I personally wanted to purchase a few years ago, and it looks like it is back on the market, which is kind of crazy. This property was built in the 1950s, and it's I don't even know what style to call it, but it's got this gorgeous lake in the back and tons of window space. It's a little pond. It's not a lake, but it's one of my favorite houses, and it came back on the market. But as always, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks. Bye.